welcome to Virtual TechEd 2023. So we are very excited to see so many people joining our session today. I'm Arne, and I'm from the BTP product management team.
And I'm Stephanie, and I'm also from the BTP product management team.
And today we accepted the challenge to try to give you some insights on the strategy for BTP and some of our innovation highlights.
So before we start, sorry to say, but we have the disclaimer in place. So
which only means that we have some news inside this session.
Yes, very good news, I would say. So just in case everybody knows it, SAP can change anything, anytime, without any reason, without notice. So with that, I would say, Arne, maybe you can start with a quick recap. What is BTP?
Okay, for the ones that might not be that familiar for BTP, even though this is TechEd, and I'm pretty sure that everybody is aware about that, I at least think that every one of you saw already this picture we're seeing here on the slide, which outlines the general BTP strategy. And if we look at this, we see a big box saying Business Technology Platform underneath our different applications we have in our portfolio. And this is the first thing that actually BTP is, right? It's the foundation that aligns all those different applications from security layer up to the user experience, that all those applications are completely integrated and work a similar way. The second thing that BTP is for us as SAP, it's our strategic solution when it comes to application development. So every new application development that takes place within SAP is going to be on BTP. And that's similar to what our partners are doing. So currently we see more than 750 applications developed by partners available to all our customers that leverage BTP technology. And most of it, it's for you, it's for our customers, right? It's to individualize your processes and still get all the advantages of having a streamlined experience for your users, but also, of course, for the administrators and the ones that actually have to operate the platform. So now, when we're coming to the strategy of SAP, it's clear that we have this B inside our technology platform, which means business. And we're really, really focusing on business, so we are calling it internally also business centricity, because that's what our customers are. So SAP is an application vendor. We're delivering a lot of applications supporting your business processes. And of course, we want to help you make your individual business processes being aligned, automated, integrated to the best extent. And to do so, we do not only deliver technology pieces, but we also deliver a lot of business-related content tools that help you actually to get to this point. So it's on the one hand side, having the similar experience between what you're doing on BTP and the applications. It's from our experience with all our customers that we're delivering actionable use cases that you can reuse and maybe a little bit bring it to your specific needs. And therefore, you also need content, right? When it comes to the integrations, you do not have to start from scratch. We're delivering a lot of business content. And looking at the data layer, of course, with all those different applications making up your processes, and maybe also all the data that you're collecting elsewhere, trying or offering really for you the possibility to get to the data that is meaningful for your processes, for your decisions, and get actionable insights into the data that you are actually needing.
Okay, so I think what we've got out of that is that business centricity is really the key. But Anna, I think it's very interesting for our audience. What is concrete in there?
Yeah, let's have a look a little bit on our strategic pillars that we defined for BTP. So starting maybe with the cross-platform priorities. Also here you can see business is really key. So if you look at that point, business accelerators and marketplace, this is actually the one place where we bring in all the business content and the business-related material that you can directly reuse bring it to your specific requirements and then have a much faster possibility to step in there. But on the other hand side, we're talking about our customers, which are mainly in the enterprise area, and therefore also, of course, stability, availability, resilience is what drives us from a key platform perspective. Now, going up to the 5 different pillars that we have defined as our strategic pillars, let's talk a little bit about what the main priorities are for the different pillars. For artificial intelligence, of course, as we're an application vendor, it's definitely our task to support how we integrate our AI technologies into the application. So really supporting the business scenarios of the different applications. Nevertheless, of course, we also want to provide this functionality for you to run your own AI scenarios, right? For data and analytics, also here, the business is in focus. So it's on the one hand side, if you look at the consumption layer, we want to make it really easy for end users to get the data and on the value out of the data that is available. But on the other hand side, we also have to take care that the data is available. So we want to simplify the access to the data and also leverage data coming from our partners. Integration, of course, at the moment, the main focus is really supporting our existing on-premise PIPO customers move to the cloud. For automation, it's really that we're really looking into helping you streamline your processes, be it for process or task automation scenarios, making it easier, leverage also AI capabilities to help you even making it easier to automate to a huge extent. And for application development, maybe I hope you all heard the keynote and you will have heard about SAP Build Code. And I think that outlines very well what are our strategic priorities in the app dev area. So SAP Build Code brings together a lot of capabilities of BTP that help you develop, deploy, and operate your applications in a single solution. And more than that, it also integrates AI capabilities to not only have the application developer having to code itself. So last year we were talking about low code and no code. This year we clearly focus on the classical developer with Build Code. And it not only helps with the tools to set this up and operate it, but with the AI capabilities, it also helps creating code assets in the different layers of the application. And all this, of course, tailored and created specifically for the SAP context of the application. So we're creating CAP, Cloud Application Programming Model-based assets here. And this is also the item, we're bridging between our low-code, no-code portfolio for our Java and JavaScript developers with SAP Build Code and our ABAP developers with the BTP ABAP environment to enhance or to enable our customers to also do fusion development where actually those pieces can play together in the best way. So that is Build Code, as said, for Java and JavaScript developers. Looking at the ABAP developers, there's also some new highlights here coming up. So also, of course, for the RESTful ABAP programming model, we will provide GenAI-based code generation capabilities coming up in 2024, where we also have the possibility, for example, to get rid of some really annoying stuff like generating test data. Yeah? And these are perfect scenarios where GenAI really helps to create code, but also the data that you need to really then come to a running application. Stephanie, so I was talking about app development. Now I want to hear something from the other solution areas. Maybe you can give us some insights here.
Of course, I have something very interesting for you. I mean, especially in integration, one pillar of BTP, we have just this week live the Edge integration cell. I mean, we were waiting so long, and finally it's live. So with the Edge integration cell moving from progress orchestration really to sub integration suite. we offer right now really a local deployment on SAP Integration Suite. What does that mean? I mean, you have right now the choice to have the flexible deployment. So either you deploy it in the cloud or on a private landscape. So what does that mean also? All the operations can be managed by customers. Either you say the installation, the software updates, and all the rest really can be managed by customers. And it's really quite a huge benefit, I would say, that, for example, for data compliance and the whole regulation, region-specific, this can then also be processed and stored locally. Yeah, so this is one feature, one innovation.
But yeah, okay. I mean, on-premise integration, I mean, it's great that we now all have the possibility to manage and orchestrate our different scenarios no matter where they are running. I really think that's great for a lot of existing PIPO customers. But to be honest, we're talking about some technology highlights and so on. So yeah, it's based on Kubernetes, I know, but is there maybe something you can tell us about some fancy AI stuff?
Maybe. Let's look at the next slide. So, of course, I have something in also for AI. So we have the AI-powered queries for analytics in natural language. So this is quite easy because this is based on SAP Analytics Cloud. So if you think about a Google search, it's nothing really else. You can just compare it. So you type in whatever you want to know, your prompt over here, and then it feeds you with all the necessary data out of SAP Analytics Cloud directly. So it already builds you up some graphics, some nice dashboards and all that, which you do not have to code anymore. And what I really like, to be honest, it also brings you up some suggestions, which might be very interesting for each company. So you see, you get all relevant insights automatically. You really empower also your business user to answer their concrete questions. And I mean, Google is well known, so this is quite easy.
You mean it's I just type in, I want to have a bar chart and of the revenue of, I don't know, and then it provides me the information?
And it provides you all the information.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really awesome. But I think that's a great use case for what we saw also in our strategy for embedded AI. So that means this is an embedded piece into Analytics Cloud, right?
Yeah.
Great. But maybe, Stephanie, can you tell us also something about the general AI strategy within BTP?
Arne, you know me right now since, I mean...
Awesome working with you, really.
So, you see, our AI strategy. I mean, we have Schul, our digital assistant, what we just recently announced. I mean, everybody have heard it already on top. Then we just talked about the embedded AI capabilities with the business processes, with the solution areas, with SAP BTP.
Where we have BTP
what we just talked about.
With SAC, and then we have all the applications where we also embed then for business purposes.
This was the just last example, or also the ABAP code, what you just explained. So this is all in the embedded AI capabilities. But, of course, you see here in the center our AI foundation on BTP. And this is really where we provide a one-stop shop for our developers, really to create AI and generative AI applications and extensions on SAP BTP. So this is really the heart, I would say.
So it's then kind of, if I read this correctly in this graphic, it's also the access layer to the partner ecosystems with all that generative AI things.
I mean,
we see. Okay.
We partner because we want to have the latest and greatest technology in, and this is why we need our partners really to fulfill that. And the AI Foundation brings us so much more. I mean, the latest AI services you have out of the box ready to use. You have the AI runtime. You have lifecycle management in it. You have the vector capabilities in it. So you see we provide quite a lot of tools really to enable our developers.
Maybe, Stephanie, do you have another example of how this comes to life?
Arne, I mean, we had that right now.
It seems as if we have discussed before what we were talking about, right?
Seems like.
Show us.
Okay, just a small example. I mean, here what you just heard on the AI Foundation, we will provide a large language model based AI interface to really SAP BTP, our SAP BTP cockpit, it's called. And here we have Schul, we have AI capabilities, for example, really to create BTP sub-accounts, to add service entitlements, also to onboard users
just
with the
by
help of
saying
AI.
what I want to do, it does what I want to do. That's a big
easy,
advantage.
it's amazing,
to be honest. Yeah.
So you see.
No. Okay.
But Arne, to be honest, you're asking quite a lot at the moment, and I cannot go through all your questions. So we have the SAP Roadmap Explorer, where you find right now only for this year more than 1,000 innovations. Already 400 are in for next year. So I would say if you want to
I think this session is way too short, right?
Yes,
Bringing all
definitely.
this into it's simply not possible to speak about all the great things that we are at the moment thinking about and doing in our development teams at the moment. So I was asking a lot of questions, actually.
Yeah.
So, but maybe it's good also to give some space for questions, from your questions from the audience.
But let's wait a moment. Maybe if they really want to explore something
you have even more.
I have even more. I mean, you can also have the free learning or at least 25% discount on certifications right now, especially for TechEd. Or, of course, you can also talk to the experts, share your knowledge and all that. So this is also quite important, this exchange.
Yeah.
But now I would definitely
Now we go to the questions.
Go to the Q&A.
Okay.
Live Q&A.
So.
Okay. We received a lot of questions. Thanks for that. So it seems to be very interesting. Okay, so we have already a high ranking. So the first question would be, can you provide insights into security features and protocols embedded within SAP BTP, especially regarding data protection and compliance, to ensure that sensitive information remains safeguarded?
So yeah, of course, to go into the details, what we provide with BTP is a common security layer, so that we're using common tools when it comes to the authentication, authorization, like the concept on how we store data, how we actually mask data. I would really advise you to go, whoever asked that question, into the dedicated sessions on our, especially here when it comes to data protection and compliance, to our security track, where we have dedicated tracks on the gore details. I think there would not be enough time to actually be able to answer that question in this short round.
Yeah, so we really have a lot of sessions dedicated on security, because I know it. I'm the track lead for BTP General, so it's really worthwhile taking a look at them.
Yeah.
Okay. Already having the next question with a lot of votes. People are very interested. I can see that.
So maybe I read it out. Considering ABAP Cloud, what is the added value of ABAP on BTP when we still can run all ABAP developments on public cloud, where we work with it in the same way? That's a very interesting question. And yes, with ABAP Cloud on the application stack of S4, the question comes really often. But if we think about scenarios, for example, where you want to have a very high innovation cycle, so where you really want to be independent of the life cycle of the application of the S4 system, then it perfectly makes sense. So whenever you're talking about scenarios where you want to access data from other systems, for example, so where you have cross-system scenarios, it definitely makes sense to decouple that from one of the systems, also for the perspective of who is actually having the control and who owns which data. What about the life cycle, as mentioned? You have on BTP a very, very nice access also to all the innovation tools and capabilities we're providing here, and all the services that we're having on BTP. So I think there are a lot of very interesting points why it still makes sense, also if you are really saying, okay, we want to go into the ABAP world, to decouple the extensions from the code. Of course, if you have extensions that are really closely related to the ABAP objects of the S4 system and are really working a lot with the data, it makes sense to use ABAP Cloud on the S4 stack. But whenever you're really thinking about innovative things, whenever you're really addressing new user groups, whenever you're addressing cross-application scenarios, I think it is very, very, very important that with BTP you have a side-by-side approach where you can operate those applications.
So Arne, to be honest, I see a very, very interesting question here, which I also got quite often at Sapphire this year. Can we connect SAP BTP with SAP S/4HANA on-premise system?
Sure. I mean, that's when we were talking about this business centricity. I mean, we still have a lot of customers that operate their business applications on-premise, be it on S4, but also with ERP, right? Yeah. Still. And of course, BTP is able to connect to these systems and to work for these systems. And I mean, the question, if I brought it a little bit up, is of course also looking at the private cloud deployments of S4, because technically it's more similar to what we see with the on-premise systems here. Yes, a very clear list. Start today, no matter if you're still on ERP, if you're running your S4 system on-prem, because then also BTP gives you a great opportunity for your path into the cloud if you want to go with your systems into the cloud in the future. Decouple your applications, think about clean core and leverage the side-by-side capabilities of BTP here, really to prepare also to be ready for your move to the cloud.
Sounds good. I really had this question quite often, so yeah. Okay, so I think, wow, we are really receiving quite a lot of questions.
I think we can take one more.
We can take one more. Okay, let me look for this one, maybe that one. The different tools available on BTP that help develop any enterprise-grade applications involve multiple licenses related to each tool. This basically makes a developer reluctant to explore full BTP. Arne, what is your thought?
Yeah, I mean, that's the answer we provide with build code in many cases. Because, I mean, that's one of the ideas of build code, is really bringing those things together in a single solution so that you as a developer do not have to spin up your instances of all the different services that are actually required to operate in the end, or to develop and operate in the end your solution, because that is one part of build code where this gets automated for you, where you get the access, it gets configured automatically, and you can really focus on the development of the business challenges, which is your task as a developer. So I think that's a huge improvement here to make it easier for our developers to not get confused by all those ton of services and not knowing exactly which are the necessary or the really helping ones for the dedicated scenario.
Okay, so I also see quite a lot of questions around roadmap. So this means, or at least I feel very good with that, because our audience is really interested. What is coming up on BTP? Really high interest in BTP. I mean, this makes me, very happy for today. For the roadmap, because I receive several questions here, which I can see, I would say we guide them to the Roadmap Explorer, because we have, as I said, 1,000 innovations just for this year, only on SAP BTP. 400s are already in for next year. So I would say take a look over there.
Okay.
So we are nearly at the end. Arne, time's running.
It was a pleasure with you, and thanks to all of you for joining. And I hope you will have a great experience at the virtual TechEd and all the interesting sessions that are coming up.
Yeah, and then I hope really to see you soon. Enjoy TechEd. Thanks a lot, Arne.
Yeah, Stephanie, it was a pleasure.
And I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.